So Qasim actually said, warm welcome. Okay. I used to be confused because I studied in Tamil, right? And you know that we have only 3 seasons in Tamil Nadu: hot, hotter, hottest. What do you mean by warm welcome? In fact, we have Tamil literature that says, when I heard the news, it was as if somebody poured cold milk in my stomach. Palavakarmar. So I used to get, and then this thing of, Cold War, and then relationships started thawing and became warm. Everybody was happy. So anyway, it took quite a bit of time for me to figure out. So language is, I guess, culture and language are dependent on geographies, right? And they are not universal. And it's actually very interesting. I had a tough time trying to understand because it was exactly the opposite of what I had studied in school, right? Anyway, I'm really happy that we are doing this. It's an incredible program. These are the things that we should have done long time ago, but better late than never. Okay? I cannot help talking about the so-called catastrophic illness. Okay, maybe it is not applicable here, but we know people, families who lose their entire livelihood when they become sick. Okay, so preventive healthcare is extremely important, especially for them. It turns out that many of these programs are actually a lot more helpful to the people at the bottom of the pyramid, because they are the people who will benefit the most, and they are the people who will be wiped out if it is not implemented properly. So this is extremely important. This Mapathon has the potential to bring in students, large number of students. In fact, first time when we did this Mapathon, I think it was 3 years ago, PMO had also endorsed it. We had about 10,000 students participating in a Mapathon. And then so we created training material quickly for all the 4 South Indian languages, and then Hindi, dubbed, and then rolled it out and said, all of you come and learn, participate. So we reached that number 10,000. Really happy that we are able to do this as a part of NME ICT, National Mission on Education through ICT. It was the brainchild of an IAS officer in Delhi, MHRD, Mr. N.K. Sinha, Bihar cadre. Amazing person. We are talking about 2005, 2006 time frame. He said, we can never catch up with the West through brick and mortar solution. Look at the roads, look at the highways, look at the beautiful colleges that they have already built. If we have to do all of that and learn and catch up with them, they would have gone much farther ahead. So the only way is through technology. So he came up with this mission, National Mission on Education through ICT, Information and Communication Technology. That funded this project, FOSSEE, Free and Open Source Software for Education. It also funded the project called Spoken Tutorial. I'm the PI of that project also, Spoken Tutorial project. I consider this as 2 complementary projects. Spoken Tutorial project trains something like 10 lakh students a year across the country, and then bring them to some level, and then FOSSEE takes over and says, okay, now I'll help with you on GIS, work with you on Scilab, work with you on R, work with you on OpenFOAM, so on and so forth, various open source software systems. As a matter of fact, coming Saturday, I'm going to be in Coimbatore talking to them about a software package called FreeCAD, which is an alternative to AutoCAD. So my estimate is AutoCAD licensing fee in Coimbatore alone is of the order of 100 crore a year. This is my guess. Okay. And these are all paid by MSME, small companies. Okay. So we have, through the FOSSI project, we train students to the level of contributors, and they contribute. We curate, FOSSI team curates. The students also curate. After a while, they become experts. They join hands, either as volunteers or as staff members, and so on. So we empower people, one at the ground up through spoken tutorial, bring them to a certain level, and then take them to a much higher level through the FOSSI project. And why open source? Why open source? Okay. So Dr. Abdul Kalam wanted us to live in a developed country. Okay. Now, I remember various discussions in the ministry. We used to go, in fact, I was a member of the standing committee to assess the projects. For 3 years, I used to go to Delhi on alternate Saturdays. Okay. To look at all the proposals received. Okay. We must have funded at least 1,000 proposals from ordinary colleges. And we always used to, in fact, I thought that that was a great thing, because we have the tendency to fund only top institutions. And so, whereas in this, Mr. Sinha believed that everybody should be empowered. We invited people, and we made them present in front of everybody. Many colleges had never presented before. And we would always say, this is the improvement you need. Go back, improve, and come back. Make a presentation, we'll give you funds. And we did that. Of course, after Mr. Sinha left, it became a problem, because who is going to take care of these 1,000 colleges? Who will monitor and so on? So it was shut. Okay. But on the other hand, I would say it is one of the important contributions of this mission itself, that we empowered so many college teachers, so many college administrations. They came, presented, and so on. I think it was a very nice thing. And we always used to ask, if I give you 1 crore, how many people will you train? Right? So that is cost per person, how much is it going to be? So that became an important parameter. All of us consciously asked that question, and we also use this. That's why when I say that spoken tutorial, we train 10 lakh students a year, it came out of that, because I was asking everybody, should I not do that? Okay. So we came up with methods. Now this something like FOSSI has the same potential at a higher level. Okay. We have, FOSSI team has trained several lakh people. For example, Scilab textbook companion. Okay. 1 lakh examples from standard science and engineering textbooks have been coded by 1,000 students across the country. 1 lakh examples made available open source to the entire country. Okay. So this mission believed in making everything open source, open content. So release the content under Creative Commons attribution share alike license, and use open source software. Because I always believe that we don't know who the next Ramanujan is going to be. Okay. Ramanujan, after all, he was in fact failing in mathematics, right? And but he was given an opportunity. So I believe this open source software and open access, OER, these have the potential to, because we don't know who has to be given this material. One can always say, I will buy license. The government can say, I will buy license and give it to not everybody, but let's say top 1,000 colleges. But we have 50,000 colleges. So 1,000 colleges, you will not reach everybody. So the only way is to make it open source, give it to everybody. Okay. I remember in one of the PAB meetings, Project Approval Board meeting, Mr. N.K. Sinha made a proposal. We should give 1 Gbps connectivity to every university. I'm talking about 2009 timeframe. Okay, and it did give. Then somebody asked, Mr. Sinha, this college doesn't even know how to use it. Why do you want to give 1 Gbps? So that seemed to be a good question. You're throwing away money to all these colleges. The answer given by Mr. Sinha was amazing. Okay, what he said was, even if there are a few students who will benefit by this technology, I want them to have access to it today. Because what we will do is we will give it to the top institutions. They will do research. And they'll say, wait, another protocol is coming. Another communication protocol is coming. Wait for it. They will never complete. Even if they complete it, by the time several generations would have passed out of all these colleges. I want them to get the benefit now. Even if it is, give me the bag. No. Yeah. So even if only a few students were to benefit by that, they will benefit by that today. So his argument was unanimously accepted. So 1,800 crores were allocated in the year 2009 for giving 1 Gbps bandwidth to a large number of universities, colleges. So by keeping it open source, the entry barriers get reduced, that we want to make it accessible to everybody. I told you about spoken tutorial. I have already explained to my colleagues here about spoken tutorial, but I will talk about something that I didn't mention. In 2000, we are training about 10 lakh students a year through 1,000 colleges and schools. In 2018, the ministry said, spoken tutorial is doing extremely well. Why don't you see if you can raise some money? We can use it as a model for other institutions. We started charging an institutional subscription of 25,000 rupees per institution per year. And any number of students can learn. And when they pass the test, they will get a certificate. Okay. In fact, I asked the Secretary, Mr. Subramaniam, at the time, is it unfair? Isn't it unfair? No other government project is raising money. You're asking me to raise? He said, if anybody can raise, maybe you can raise. So we want to do a pilot with you. So we said, okay. So we have now 1,000 colleges and schools that are doing. It's still a small drop in 50,000 colleges we have. Okay, we have 15 lakh schools. We have only 300 schools that are participating. We have in 2017-18 timeframe, we extended this to health and nutrition. Okay, worked with the Dr. Rupal Dalal, who's a nutritionist, pediatrician and a nutritionist. And she had worked in Mumbai slums for many years. She had identified she looks at newborns, health of newborns. Right? We extended the spoken tutorial paradigm to the newborn care, exclusive breastfeeding, complementary feeding, protein calculation, and so on and so forth. Train ASHA workers, Anganwadi workers. And we have trained about 1 lakh health workers using our method. And every health worker helps 100 babies. So you can imagine 1 crore babies are getting benefited. I will just give one example to say the impact of this work. Meenal Karanwal IAS was an assistant collector in Nandurbar. Nandurbar is the worst performing district in terms of malnutrition in Maharashtra, second worst performing in India. The health of the babies is judged by the weight gain, daily weight gain. The daily weight gain in Nandurbar is of the newborns is 12 grams a day, 10 to 12 grams a day. How do they do it? They weigh the baby after a month. The weight gain is 300 to 350 grams, so 10 to 12 grams. Whereas the National Nutrition Mission recommends 28 grams a day. Okay. So Meenal says, after implementing IIT Bombay's Health Spoken Tutorial program, that is, the health workers were trained and they imparted the training, told the mothers what to do, the daily weight gain became 35 to 40 grams a day and even 50 grams a day. Okay, that means better than the standard. That means the standard has to be revised. Not only are we doing well, in fact, she wrote that article, it went viral. So we are now working in 15 districts and entire Meghalaya is come. In fact, Gates Foundation has given us a huge grant to implement that. And in fact, we are about to start the work with Dr. So that is going to happen. I believe it's a question of time before this method goes. Basically, I mean, what is the big deal? You tell people how to do breastfeeding. Breastfeeding we have been doing for so many years, but we are not doing it correctly. That is a problem. We insist on breastfeeding, don't give powder milk, babies are not getting mother's milk also. So that's a problem. So I believe that it will spread all over the country. So this method of pedagogy is the tip of the iceberg. IT training is the tip of the iceberg. We can actually extend it to several other areas. I just said that we started working with Dr. Devi Shetty's group. He saw this, he said this is what he wanted for his nurses training. Because 16% of apparently all the heart procedures are done in his group of hospitals. Reason being, he is the most inexpensive. And how do they do it? Mostly using nurses. Doctors do only critical work. So the nurse education becomes very critical, nurse training. And he says nurses know nothing. We have to train them to everything. And so we have started creating. By the way, one last piece of information and then I will hand over the mic. In 2000, let me see, 1.5 years ago, I retired from IIT. I'm an emeritus fellow now. And IIT wanted me to continue for 3 more years. So I have appointment till 2026 summer. But I might leave earlier. I have started a company at Sign. It's an incubated company at Sign. So as to continue, because unfortunately, nobody wants to continue these activities at IIT Bombay. I mean, certainly spoken tutorial, breastfeeding, and so on and so forth. So I have started this company to continue those activities because the problem is that we are training 10 lakh students a year and they are paying to get this training. Not a whole lot, but they are paying. That means it is valuable. Just imagine if it gets stopped and so many people will, that avenue, that channel will be closed. So we wanted to continue. So that is where we are. Hopefully, we can continue all of it through that company. And I'm really delighted this event has brought experts from all over the country, in fact, even from across the world, to way to motivate our youngsters. Okay, because motivation is the biggest problem. Our children, they don't know what is going to get them jobs. Okay, so we have the potential that mapping can become a very good source of employment. We have to map all kinds of things. We have to do all kinds of studies and support administrators in a big way. And every student can contribute. And that can happen through this hackathon, right? So, and if they are supported, it's not that we don't have the money, we have the money. Government has the money. Every district administration has the money, can empower all these people, give jobs and so on, and they can go. I mean, we can go all over the world. There is, population growth rate is falling in all over the place. They need young, educated youngsters all over the world. Our children can go all over the place, provided they are good, provided we empower them, provided they get educated, provided they become experts in an important area like Hackathon, for example, GIS and so on. So this gives an opportunity, so that needs experts. It needs a platform. I'm happy that we are able to provide that platform. I want to thank all the experts for taking the time out to be with us on a Saturday, right? And to share their knowledge and for the noble cause of empowering our youngsters so that they can lead better lives in the future, and so that we can achieve Dr. Kalam's dream of living in a developed country. Thank you and Jai Hind.
Thank you, Professor Kannan, for sharing the insight and evolution of the FOSSI project. Your vision to reach out to all and empower them through OER, Open Educational Resources, will surely benefit a lot of them. May I now request Professor Pennan? Hello. May I now request Professor Pennan Chinnaswamy, co-PI, FOSSI IIT Bombay project, Professor in charge for the Rudra Data Research and Analysis Lab, IIT Bombay, to give us overview about the FOSSI GIS vertical. Professor Pennan Chinnaswamy, over to you.
மாத்துறது share screen zoom தேவையில்ல zoom போயிட்டு Microsoft is one. பண்ணிட்டு அங்கே போட்டுறியா அந்த கம்ப்யூட்டர் இருக்கா ஜூம் கரெக்டாக அதெல்லாம் இல்லை Zoom just open Zoom and then put this meeting link மீட்டிங் கோட ஓப்பன் பண்ணிட்டு Good morning, all, and I hope you had a wonderful time in IIT Bombay, especially the guest. Sorry for the technical glitch. So we'll go through the activity of FOSSI GIS in the health vertical, which we have recently come across because we, as Professor Kannan was saying, we've been doing these mapathons across India, and it is the largest mapathon event in the world, where 9,000 students come and then they map all these data, which even the government does not have. Let's say we have a land use land cover map, which ISRO puts out every 5 years, 6 years. Our students are putting it out every single year, very, very updated maps, even road maps. Interestingly, we also had someone mapping beehives and production of honey in one of our mapathons. So we are very diverse in the topics. And slowly we saw that some people had more interest in health and health and medical vertical. So thanks to Dr. Vidudalai Virumbi, I was happy to give a talk in NIE, ICMR offices. And we could see there's a lot of population of doctors who want to be involved in the preventive healthcare vertical. And this GIS brings the proactive measure of what is happening. So I'll just go through a bit. So the medical vertical is taking a very, very different route from being reactive, where you come with a disease and then they give a medicine. So it's very reactive. There's a lot of medicine stored in the medical pharmacies and government hospitals, but the root cause of the disease is still there. So from reactive, we are trying to go proactive to understand what are the causalities and correlations for diseases. And here is where GIS brings a very multi-dimensional, multi-source data into picture, and more decentralized approach, because one size fits all doesn't apply to everywhere. For example, we have different medicines across, and the efficiency of the medicine is very different. And empowering medical professionals, ground workers, healthcare workers, Anganwadi workers is our key. So what have we come across is, to understand the root cause, there are multiple other data sets that in a GIS platform it can give answers. Let's say water is the issue, and then those who are living in a cluster near dams are getting more dengue because mosquitoes are breeding there. It's a very straightforward. But if the government plans are there, schemes are there to eradicate mosquitoes, why don't they start there? Why people near dams are getting more into dengue and other things? And therefore there is, and also during COVID there was a very big analogy that people along the coastal regions were not getting much COVID impact because they already had omega-3 in their system. So these are not mapped, these are not given. And more worse was, where do people go when they have an issue? So the location of these healthcare systems and pharmacies are not mapped, and so there is a very, very big issue in this cost. So just water, we have a lot of deaths in India due to bad water, and we are actually looking at water can be a domain that can be agriculture, it can be health, it can be sanitation, everything is linked to it. So it's not only doctors domain, but it becomes a hydrology domain, it becomes a water domain also, because we need to see how we can eradicate these problems. So one question I asked is, what is the link between HIV and climate? So this is where I asked NIE, and they were like also thinking like, sir, how can HIV be linked with climate change? Or doctors were saying, sir, no, it's not possible. Then I had to bring the UN report on climate change and AIDS, which clearly tells that because of climate change, there is low production of crops and water gets polluted, and therefore a lot of migration happens. Today outside the meeting we were discussing about crop health. If the crop health goes down, the consumption also goes down, the immune system goes down, and therefore you are open to more and more diseases. And here there's a lot of other things that drive HIV due to climate change, migration, organ stuff, etc. So this was just a tip of the iceberg, because when you talk about climate change, the only data set that can capture all of it is through satellites and GIS platforms, because it's a very tremendous large scale data set that we're going to work on. So there are a lot of issues in data, and here is where the events like the Hackathon and Mapathon come into picture, where locals will go to the local field areas. One issue about a top-down approach where government officials go and collect data is, there's a lot of cost in mobilization of these people. There's a lot of cost in monitoring. So if you sensitize the locals through our spoken tutorials for CGIS programs, they go and collect these data and they map the issues and temporary resolutions for it, which can come back to IIT Bombay with the domain expertise and doctors NIE Vidudalai Virumbi's team. We can bring out a model solution for it. So more data, more density of data has been recorded with our own mapathons, which we're very happy and proud of, because we first empower them, then we let them go to the field and collect data, which even the government does not have data, and we have the storage networks, we have the supercomputers to run these data, to run big analysis for the people. So in this, one thing that we came across is, as I said, proxy data. So if you cannot understand a perfect, let's say locust attack happened during the COVID. So locust was COVID already was hitting India, and that time locust was also being a major influence because it was eating all the crops, and food famine was about to happen. So all this could be mapped only by satellite data. So that's what we teach in GIS. We bring multiple data sets, multiple satellites, and with all the sensors that we have on the ground to make these colorful maps, as Vidudalai was saying, chlorophyll maps and other things that we can make to make ideas and information available for the public. So why remote sensing? Again, it is unbiased data. It's a lot of data that can come. Satellites are capturing data at hourly, daily intervals, 10-meter resolutions, 30-meter resolutions, and all of this can come to a GIS platform, which we are empowering through our initiatives and mapathons. So with this, I think we also have data that comes in large volumes is more good, because it's directly big data. So I have some collaborators in Johns Hopkins University who said, doctors are just coming and sitting on GIS people because they want to see why heat strokes happen in a particular area in the US, and that is driven by climate change parameters. So rainfall, high temperatures, everything influences you. Not all are resilient to climate change. So a lot of people are getting heat strokes, and this also relates to other medical issues or diseases. So in our lab, so we have a lab called Rudra, Rural Data Research Analysis Lab. It's the first lab in India that focuses on rural development, which brings a lot of these data, multi-source, multi-dimensional data, and brings it into one platform. However, we found that more data was needed, and therefore the Mapathon idea came out. This was the first Mapathon that Professor Kannan was mentioning. You could see ISRO was a partner, AICT was a partner, 9,000 participants participated in this event, world's largest, and the PMO office had put it on their handle. But what drove this is we let the people also give their own problem statements. We not only said these are the problem statements, you can also bring your own problem statements. So we were very surprised to see doctors participate, firefighters, police people, criminal law people, and also it covered all education levels, like from diploma to medical colleges to engineering, technology institutes, etc. So GIS was not only looked as a technology, it was an enabler for a problem solution. And this is where I think we won big time, and then we still continue this tradition of having the Mapathon. One map I would like to show today is the food security issue. So let's look at this. This is a map given by one of the participants in 2022 and he became a champion. The beautiful part of this is you could see where food security is an issue. The red color is the few food security issues, but the government has a plan of having distribution centers across this district. So when some locations in the district are performing well, food should not be wasted or stored there and let it rot. It has to be mobilized to red locations. So why are these red locations not getting the food? Why are they not turning green? So this is what a student studied in Gujarat, and it enabled them because they brought all the satellite, they could go down to the field and collect. So 9,000 participants, when Sir said, it included all the states, all the union territories in India. So this is not only number, but spatially across India, we mapped everything. So like this, another study was impact of rising temperature on land surfaces, and because of the rising temperature, some diseases are more prevalent, water issues are happening, sanitation is an issue, and all these things. So where is it happening? Exact locations can be mapped using these GIS technologies. So with this, I'd like to conclude that it is a rising link between diseases and health issues. Climate change, water, agriculture, everything is linked to these. It's not only a domain specific problem, but it's interdisciplinary domain. And here we don't want doctors to convert into a GIS specialist, nor the GIS specialists become doctors. This is what has happened during COVID, where a lot of AI models were run by non-medical professionals, and a lot of very scary advisories were given. So what we would like to do is, why don't we create the bridge between them? Both the domains come together and work. And Honeybee Population Foundation through Vidudai Virumbi is looking at a lot of these avenues where we can work together. And then because we don't expect them to write codes, we don't expect them to write AI ML programs, but IITs are known for it. So why not link both together and work on it? So population with access to smart devices, smart technologies to collect data is also rising, and collaborations with IIT can actually solve these kind of issues. So this is our supercomputer which runs all these data that we run for our Mapathons and stuff. So this, thank you. And a lot of these could not happen without Professor Kannan's active participation and our encouragement. So FOSSEE and Spoken Tutorial team, which is here, I'd like to thank them all. Honeybee Population Healthcare Foundation, Vidudai Virumbi, and CB are there, and all the GIS open source data platforms that we use. Just open source data can solve 60,000 crores for India. All the softwares I'm saying. The budget that India spends on proprietary software, the government offices, is 60,000 crores, which is equivalent to Manrega money. What we do is we try to promote GIS. Each GIS license is 1 lakh rupees, but we do it open source. So we are, look how much potential we have to change a lot of students' lives. With this, I'd like to thank all the team and my Rudra team, my students here. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Sorry. Sorry. Thank you, Professor Pennan. It was a good insight about what are the various activities, rather eye-opening talk about, what are the various activities that FOSSI GIS is doing and exploring different, trying to resolve problems. That's really exciting to know. And I'm sure the members over here and the participants watching on the Zoom will definitely appreciate the efforts you are taking. May I request Mohammad Qasim Khan to come. We are going to come and help us launch the FOSSI GIS calendar for 2025. These are the activities that we are planning. Qasim, okay. You first launch it. So this calendar displays all the activities that we are planning to conduct in this coming year.
So just a few words about the activity calendar. So I sincerely thank all the dignitaries on the dais, Professor Kannan Modgalya, Professor Pennan Chinnaswamy, Sundara Ganapati sir, Dr. Virdale Virumbi, Ilangovan sir. It is a remarkable journey for us. In fact, the most important fact to be conveyed is in the year 2019, there was a Smart India Hackathon grand finale session which was organized here at IIT Bombay. And during that session, Professor Kannan had given an inspiring talk, making India as a $5 trillion economy. During his speech, he had introduced the concept of pyramid of excellence, of attainable pyramid of excellence, of how India could reach that target soon. So inspired by that, the FOSSI GIS team here at IIT Bombay had conceptualized the foundational aspects of GIS activities. So the activity chart that you saw now, which was launched today, it is the third edition of the Pyramid of Excellence that we have adopted. The fact is, as on date, through the FOSSI GIS project, just for implementing the open source based initiatives, since the year 2020, we have reached around 1,000 colleges, which are solid participants of all the activities till date. And after this launch, we are having an aim to convert or give an opportunity to at least one student from the institution to get an internship here. So as far as the activity calendar is concerned, I would sincerely like to thank our partner agencies, starting with the Airports Authority of India, which is the complete sponsor for this year's activity for prize sponsor and related stuff. We would like to thank ICFOS, International Community for Free and Open Source Software, which is a autonomous body under the Department of Electronics and IT, Government of Kerala, the Tamil Nadu Skill Development Corporation. And for all the activities, the technical partner is the Rudra Lab. Rudra is India's first HPC powered data center, which is dedicated towards rural development. So we sincerely thank the support of Rudra Lab in this regard. Okay, in a nutshell, this year's activity calendar that has been launched, it has 11 stages. The basic stage being the foundational activities, which involves the formation of advisories, supporting every institution in India which has adopted the national education policy with coming up with an open source GIS lab, supporting them in curriculum design in case if they are an autonomous institution or an university, faculty development programs, and so on. So after the foundational activity, we have competitions, and the National Medical GIS Hackathon is one out of the 7 competitions that we'll be conducting this year. And general competitions, as Professor Pennan Chinnaswamy had pointed, Mapathon is the world's biggest geospatial mapping challenge that we have. And after Mapathon, we have the national level IoT based Geospatial Hackathon. The second edition of it the inauguration is going to happen next week. And the third edition is Data AI based Geospatial Hackathon. So these are next to next connected activities that will be launched very soon. These are the general competitions. As far as the domain specific competitions are concerned, we are happy that we are inaugurating the National Medical GIS Hackathon today. Dr. Sandura Ganapati sir will be launching it as a chief guest from the PSA's office. And so this is for One Health. Like this, we have two more verticals which will be launched in the next 1 month time. Again, inspired by the theme chosen by the PSA's office. One is on deep ocean exploration. So we have partnered with India's first maritime university, Academy for Maritime Engineering and Training, Chennai, Amit University, Chennai. So it will be called as National Maritime Geospatial Hackathon, the edition 1 of it, and that will bring in all the maritime universities together, mapping the resources which India could explore. And the third category is National Agriculture Geospatial Hackathon. Again, it is going to happen before the end of March. So Sher Kashmir University of Agricultural Sciences and Technology has expressed interest to take lead, and they will be bringing all the agricultural universities across India for this geospatial mapping challenge. And the thematic area is precision agriculture. So like this, these are the general competitions. And after general competitions, we have internships. There are two internships that we have launched, National Geospatial Internship and IIT Bombay FOSSEE Geospatial Summer Fellowship and Internship. And the National Geospatial Internship for this year, for every institution which has rightfully adopted the national education policy, without any restriction, we have allotted 1,000 as the limit of interns who will be taken across India. How we are going to achieve it? Again, thanks to the Pyramid of Excellence concept, through which we have developed a strong dedicated base of local faculty members who work on GIS and related technologies. And after internship, we have National Geospatial Fellowship, National Medical Geospatial Fellowship for in fact, the winners of the Medical GIS Hackathon, once it is completed, they will be given an opportunity to either become an intern of IIT Bombay through the FOSSEE project, or if it is an institution which is interested in coming up with geospatial solutions, we have National Geospatial Medical Fellowship. And the Pyramid of Excellence grows, the final layer being the National Geospatial Awards. And this edition, the second edition of National Geospatial Awards, is expected to be scheduled in the month of April, probably by end April or the first week of May. And all these activities related to the Pyramid of Excellence, it has been uploaded on IIT Bombay's website. If you could visit the homepage of IIT Bombay, I think I can show it here. So once you visit IIT Bombay's homepage, go to the announcement. The first link is IIT Bombay FOSSEE GIS activity calendar for the year 2025. Coming? Okay, so let me show it again. So please go to the homepage of IIT Bombay. Under it, there will be a tab called Announcements. The first link in announcement will be the activity calendar that we have just launched. So this is a 16-page document which explains in detail about every activity that we have put in place, starting from the foundational aspects of it, going up to the geospatial awards. And the most important thing is, for every vertical of the open source based GIS activities that FOSSEE is initiating, we are in the process of finalizing the national and state level advisories. So once it is done, again, that will be put up in a place both on FOSSEE's website and FOSSEE GIS website. So this is what we have from our side, and I sincerely thank eminent experts who have come here today, and people who have joined online, and also people who will be watching the recorded sessions offline at a later point in time to be associated. And finally, I would sincerely like to thank my PI, Professor Kannan Modgalya, for all the dedication and support, co-PI, Professor Pennan Chinnaswamy, my colleagues, Madam Usha Vishwanathan, Madhulika, Mehzabin, Payal, Rajesh Kushalkar, and everyone from the Rudra team who have come here today. And on behalf of the National Mission on Education through ICT, through which the FOSSEE project is funded, and on behalf of all the partners, we thank you once again for witnessing this occasion. Thank you.
Thank you, Kasim, for briefing us with the calendar activity for the FOSSEE GIS vertical. May I now invite Dr. Virumbi, founder, Honeybee Population Healthcare Foundation, to give the overview of Medical GIS Hackathon. Doctor, over to you.
Good morning to all. We are very much happy to have this inauguration ceremony at IIT Bombay with our chief guest of honors, and the team, FOSSEE team, HPHF team, and a lot of universities, medical education, as well as technology institutions watching this in YouTube and the live link. We are very much delighted to have this session. We are planning it for more than 6 months, meticulously planned by FOSSEE team under the guidance of Kannan Modgalya sir and Pennan sir. I wish to have a few points to make it very simple. What we learned from ICMR, National Institute of Epidemiology, as part of our masters. We are practicing GIS during public health crises like disasters, mass gatherings where we require more support, and outbreaks and pandemics like COVID. We have 25 plus working use cases, the success stories. We call it as success stories because each map has some intervention, and that intervention made a change in the field. With that start, I wish to have 2 examples here. One from our guest of honor, Mr. Ilangon sir, used to start the introduction session with the X and Y as longitude and latitude. So for all the students, usually they will think X and Y as latitude, longitude. So this is one most important learning from Ilangon sir. And one more learning is whenever we put a buffer, there will be a default layer given by the QGIS, which doesn't have a meaning. Vasna Joshua ma'am highlighted that this blue color is not having a value. Then we realized and replaced it with the transparent layer. Why I mentioned these 2 examples are students who are listening this may think that there are 3 terms here: medical, GIS, and hackathon. So one is the buzzword I want to decipher is the GIS. It is only a 4-step, what we learned in our recent workshop. The first one is we want the solution that is open source, that is QGIS. There is an existing solution called Quantum GIS. The second step is we want the data to be there in the QGIS. That is the spatial data, the layers, maps. The second one is your project data, that is the Excel sheets. We can able to convert into a comma separated value and join in QGIS. The third one, what we are advocating through this hackathon is, please have an objective to create a map. The maps can be created using these 2 things. Whenever you are having a data, whenever you are having a GIS layer, you can create a map. With objective, it will have a meaningful impact. So the objective is what we are trying to impart as a doubt clearing session. We also planned sessions in 6 major places. We are going to come in person and train the students if they are not knowing the GIS. So people who are expert in GIS can also participate here. People who are aspiring to learn GIS can also participate in this hackathon. The fourth one is the important one, how to create the meaningful map using the symbology and interpret it and to fit into the current requirement in the field. So this simple is the GIS. Now come to the medical field. Again, to simplify the medical requirement, we added the theme as One Health. What is One Health? Like, there are 4 partners in any ecosystem: human, animal, plants, and environment. The interaction between them are happening as a real time. Right now in this hall, we are interacting to our ecosystem. The problem are 4 C's. I add the 5th one by our chief guest, Sindhura Ganapathy sir advice. The first one is the communication, collaboration, coordination, and capacity building. The recent one I learned today is the definition of all these things. So whenever 2 people want to communicate, they want to have a common definition to communicate. So medical system is, there are plenty of requirements from the medical fraternity to GIS and technology. For example, where to put a new medical college, where to put a new health sub-centers. If a mother is in a given location, latitude, longitude, latitude, then the mother want to know what is the risk she is possessing, the risk zoning of the pregnancy, so that mother can realize where to have a better birth planning. The disease clustering of it. During the disaster, we don't have a primary key to link to data set. This is a common problem of all the data observatory. We have abundance of data in this era. The problem is 2 data set is not having a primary key. Using GIS, as the location act as a primary key, we can put all the data overlaying to one another. We can able to draw some meaningful insights using GIS. So now the medical part, whatever the use case we are having, that use case is nothing but, if I have some problem statement in my mind, I may be a medical institution, I may be a practitioner, I may be a researcher, I may be a professional, I can put this doubt, put this problem statement into a structured way to this team. The team is having the open source data, the open source layers, they have expertise in GIS. Now these 2 can help each other through this hackathon. There is a role of technology institutions who want to mentor their students, because GIS is a multidisciplinary domain. So it is like current day we all know how to use the mobile. Similarly, we all know how to use a Word file, Excel files, and PowerPoints. The GIS, you want to add one more skill set there. So we see it as a skill set as part of how to express the place related information. It is a place related information we want to give to the authorities. Again, from the learnings, you all have to believe that the time to decision taken using map is fraction of second. In rest of the medium of communication, if we are giving a publication that require sizable time, minimum half an hour to understand the publication and to learn from it. The map is the only thing, by a visual eyeball exercise, people can immediately tell, yes, they can able to understand something problem here. So the time to take decision is fraction of second using the GIS. With all this, the request is to all the students from medical fraternity, allopathy, Ayush, and paramedics, as well as from technology institutions. You may be students, you may be researcher, you may be professionals. We want all these people to act as a team together. We are hosting a link for registration. Please register there, and we are here to support. What HPHF role? As I come from the organization Honeybee Population Healthcare Foundation, we are going to support this initiative in 3 aspects. First aspect, to harvest the data set available in the open source domain. So that is, we are going to map all the districts, we are going to map the states, we are having a data set available from the open data set, one part. Second, similarly, we have the GIS sourced from the survey department, Bhuvan. So what we are going to do is, we are going to help the students to identify the objective and support them with these data sets, which are openly available. In case if you want a specific data set, then we have already spoken with our knowledge partners who have guided us how to synthesize the data and share to the students, so that there is no data privacy or the cyber security issues are there. It's all synthesized data so that student can demonstrate their concept. This is the second area we are supporting. The third one is, we are working on the concept called population governance and research, where all these things are going to happen in a given village or a urban domain. From there, if a student is giving a use case, we can able to support them from the understanding of the village dynamics with this human, animal, plants and environment interactions to support them. If the problem is more unique, we can bring the experts to support the students' problem statements. We wholeheartedly invite the students, researchers, professionals, institutions, medicine, allopathy, Ayush, technology institutions and other institutions. We have a good experience with anthropology. The institutions are publishing within a 1 day of workshop. So this is a very simple exercise. What we want to do is we want to exceed our expectations. I wish to quote the Nelson Mandela quote here. We all know we have a problem statement. We all know there is a layer. We all know there is a solution. Only thing is we have to take our first step to solve the problem. So we wholeheartedly invite again all these people. Please join this important event which is going to give many insights for the timely decision making in the domain of 1L. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Virumbi. I'm sure. Thank you, Dr. Virumbi, for throwing light on the medical GIS hackathon vision. I hope that all the students grab this opportunity that you have given them and accept your invitation and join the hackathon to resolve the problems that you are planning to resolve and get better insight. They'll also get good opportunity to work with all the experts. You have knowledge partners and a big team to help them guide also. So I hope the students take this opportunity and benefit from the hackathon. I would like to brief the members, the participants over here, that we have Dr. Soumya Swaminathan with us online. She is also one of the chief guests for the day. She couldn't join us in person, but she's there in the Zoom. I hope. Dr. Swaminathan, are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. So we are very happy to have you over here with us. Welcome to you. And now we will be launching the website. May I request the chief guest, Dr. Sindura Ganpati and Dr. Soumya, for virtually help us launch the website. Dr. Sindura Ganpati, may I request you? I'll call. Just give me 1 second. We'll get ourselves technically. Mouse. Could you please click on this icon? That is this. Just a minute. I have shared the screen. Am I sharing the screen? No, it's not. Click on this icon.
Some virtual hand too.
Yes.
That Soumya, I used your virtual hand too to click this.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir and ma'am, for launching the website for us. Yeah.
No, please go ahead.
So the website homepage talks about the important dates, how to register. We have themes, different themes over here, the process, and different, want to know about the activities, important dates, how to register, the different parameters to be taken care while you are registering. So this is the website that we have launched. And of course, you can contact us too. So here are the details for you to contact us. May I call Dr. Sindhura Ganpati, Office of Principal Scientific Advisor, Government of India, to please share his vision and thoughts. Thank you.
Would you like me to use this? I turn that off. Yeah. Okay. Are we good? Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. Sorry, Dr. Soumya, to miss you in person. Would have loved to see you and spend time with you. Good morning, everyone. I travel fair bit to different places. Work takes me, but anytime it feels like I wish I knew these people and group earlier. That's a good day, and this is one of those. I wish I knew you before. There are so many areas that I could think of. I would have liked to get you involved and help, but it is never late, as they say. The breadth and the depth of activities that is happening here, quite astounding. And Professor Kannan, I'm surprised. It is unusual for seeing such activity that is more suitable, or what I see in implementing and rural connectivity and breadth happening in IIT. Usually the perception is that these IITs are elite, isolated, cutting edge in a negative way, people's perception. I think it's a bit unfair. And the breadth of activities that you showed and this effort has made me even more reinforced that that does not have to be the case. And when the invitation came, I actually suggested to invite others because I'm not an expert in any single area, but you still feel like I have some value to add. I don't know what value you get out of having me here, but I certainly have benefited learning about this. The reason I accepted is because of that keyword GIS. I have no background or expertise in it. I would love to participate in it and learn actually. But I have come to see the value of it. I visited the Bhaskaracharya Institute, the BISAG in Gujarat. So I'm amazed at how much effort is going on, and some sectors are using GIS very effectively, like infrastructure building. PM Gati Shakti is now quite integrally involved in all aspects of GIS that helps with reducing the time, costing it out better, anticipating issues when you're just building highways, what land needs to be acquired, what can't be acquired, how much needs to be dug, how much needs to be filled. You can do that fairly quickly. But medical profession or health literage doesn't quite use GIS as much. And I have tried bringing that during my work in when our office took up this building of this One Health as a mission. I have personally tried to bring GIS very centrally into this, but it is not as easy to convey or convince or vividly explain why GIS is useful. And that is because there isn't a accumulated history of usage in that whole sector, what I feel like. So it's going to take many iterations, and what you are doing today will take us many steps further because of this, because you are building a broad base of use cases that even small number of people can think of by engaging such vast audience which are younger, brighter, and have many more ideas. The reason why I feel like it is very useful is, even if you take disease itself, since the topic is One Health, if I take the example of a disease that is prevalent in my state, home state, Karnataka, called KFD, Cashmere Forest Disease. For those of you who don't know it, it used to be a niche disease in my own district, but now it seems to be spreading for varieties of reasons we don't quite understand. It comes from a virus causes the disease, and the virus usually resides in a bunch of hosts like monkeys or rodents or other hosts we don't fully understand, and it comes to humans through bite of ticks that are blood-sucking arthropods when people go to forest or their agriculture fields, and it can be deadly. So many people die every year. Now it is February, so the season is starting now, the dry season, when it starts to pick up, and currently we don't have a vaccine. Currently we don't really have a medicine to treat it, cure it. So it's a real serious problem. And it is very close to my heart and my home village. Now, what is happening is, when you want to solve this kind of problem, which involves wildlife species like the hosts that I mentioned, monkeys, rodents, and squirrels, whatnot, and forests where these things happen, and it involves vectors like the ticks, it involves human beings, the efforts are disjointed. There are data sets or reportings of human cases happen, but they live in their domain, in human disease program domain. And there is an annual effort of collecting these ticks, and these ticks are collected using a methodology, sent for analysis to see if these ticks have the viruses, which is an important indicator that if these ticks tend to have virus, that means that's one danger signal, red spot. Then there are mapping of forests and wildlife, all of that, but they all live in different places. The tick data sits in an Excel sheet. The forest and other mappings are done for different reasons. So when you put all of these layers in one place, the power of prediction, management, prevention can go manifold. And it seems so obvious when I put it this way, but what is obvious doesn't usually happen. And that's just one disease. There are so many such examples just for surveillance where this could be very useful. And I like the example that was used. GIS is like it's like a Excel sheet or a mobile phone or some. It's a agnostic tool, very powerful tool. You can apply it to so many things, and we don't usually apply it to as many places as we can. And these kind of efforts hopefully will pave the way, both in awareness, education, skill sets that our country needs. And this open source, I'm a big fan of it, and I am really glad you are taking that as a challenge to bring that into the forum and build contributors. And I used only one example of disease, but that's on human wildlife interface. But even when diseases don't come to humans, for example, in livestock, there is a disease called foot and mouth disease, and country spends a lot of money. There is a national program called NADCP. It's a 13,000 crore program, big one, and this disease is a serious problem for cattle, buffalo, sheep, goats. The pathogen doesn't infect us as humans, but it causes a lot of economic damage. Because we cannot export to countries since we have this disease, and they put restrictions on that. And for farmers itself, it's a huge limitation because it reduces productivity, and vaccination is done twice a year. I mean, 30 crore or so animals twice a year in complete rural areas. Think about the logistics of it. And then there is a sampling program to collect samples from a grid created throughout the country to look at where the disease is there, what serotype of the 3 serotypes is spreading where, and then the department that is responsible for it is thinking of creating a disease-free compartment. Take, say, state like Goa or smaller compartments and start how we can eradicate, because eradication is our goal. How do you do it? If you, I cannot imagine not using GIS if you are trying to put all of this together, right? So where is the disease spreading? The location. That's the latitude, longitude that was mentioned. But timestamp is also important. And what serotype is spreading? And when you do the vaccination, where do you need to target it? You can't just spray it, because when you spray it, which is what we are doing, most places get covered, but there are some that don't get covered. It is those that don't get covered that drop off routinely are the source of problem. Unless you are able to have a resolution of pointing that out, we will never actually catch that 10% or the 5% that gets remained. And if you are building a compartment where multimodal issues, you have to control the movements, you have to vaccinate, you have to do surveillance. So it's a beautiful case study where there is money going to be spent by the government, and using these kind of approaches can really help put India to the next level of control measures. So there could be many more such ideas that I hope your definition of One Health is broad enough in this area, so that people can actually start to bring in even issues of wildlife. For example, avian influenza is spreading right now. Where is it spreading, and how do we know it is not reducing population of certain key species? For example, over the last 30 years, India saw huge drop in vulture population. That wasn't quite related to avian influenza, it was related to some other a drug that was used in animals that was causing the eggs of these vultures to become thin, and we nearly have lost vultures. How often you see vultures, right? So who is mapping it? How do we know? So all of these cannot be done as government initiatives where you send government officers to start counting. This is where engaging citizens and the breadth of our skill sets and resources can actually contribute in a huge way. Therefore, I really hope this initiative that you are taking succeeds, where you get ton of ideas that we didn't even think about today on, oh, GIS and these approaches could be applied to even solving this problem, because even the problem sets are so vast that you cannot sit here and plan for where in the field what is needed. So I'm super excited to see what comes out of it. I'm so glad to be here and learn about this, and I would love to be part of learning what came out and what could contribute to even the national initiatives as a result of this broad capturing of the capacity that exists in our country. And even when something doesn't end up becoming so big, just the fact of a student somewhere gets involved in it, tries their hand in it, and becomes aware of it itself is one step towards that bright vision that was mentioned by former principal scientific advisor, Professor Abdul Kalam. He was the first principal scientific advisor. So there is a proud line through to my own office. Thank you so much for having me, and I wish you all the success in this program, and would love to keep in touch and be part of this initiative. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sindhura Ganpati ji. It was really, we are really happy that we were able to showcase what we are doing. And sir, your best wishes. I'm sure we will go ahead a long way. Before we proceed ahead, we would like to have a group photograph. Dr. Soumya ji, will you come online so that we can have you on the photograph too? Yeah, we'll have a talk after the photograph.
Yeah, sure. I'll have to leave soon because I have another meeting starting.
We'll take a photograph and then your session, ma'am. Is it okay?
Yeah, we'll have to do it really fast. I've cancelled 2 other meetings already. Yeah, let's do it fast.
Please come in front. That's all.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. So it's my pleasure to invite Dr. Soumya Swaminathan, ma'am, the chairman of MS Swaminathan Foundation, Research Foundation, and also the principal advisor to the National Tuberculosis Elimination Program, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India. Dr. Soumya, ma'am, over to you.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, everyone. So it's been indeed a very nice experience to be listening to all the speakers who have spoken before me, and a lot has been said already. So I will be very brief. Let me firstly congratulate all the partners who've come together. I hope you can hear me all right. Can you hear me? Okay. So I want to congratulate all the partners, and particularly the Honeybee group, because of my long association with the ICMR and the National Institute of Epidemiology. I'm so happy that a group of alumni decided to form this foundation and network, and are taking up very innovative kind of programs like this, trying to link technology and evolving science with trying to solve our own health problems in the country today. So I would really like to give them credit, and the people who thought of doing this, the NIE alumni who have come together and formed this foundation. Congratulations and best wishes to you as you launch even more innovative programs. It's also very creditable that IIT Mumbai has done a number of different initiatives that I'm aware of that bring technology and health together. And this is actually the need of the hour. But not only that, it is very targeted to solving our public health problems. And I think that is what, as Dr. Sindhura was saying also, what are the problems, the questions, the gaps that we have, and there are many that exist today. Let me give you a few examples of, I know the theme is One Health, and that's also very extremely relevant. One Health is a very, very all-encompassing and broad concept, and you can approach it from many different angles. I think practically anything you look at would be One Health, especially if you're going to bring in climate change, biodiversity, our environment, which includes air, water, plants, food, nutrition, animal health, food safety, and of course also prevention of diseases, especially zoonotic diseases. So quite often, One Health gets interpreted just as surveillance and prevention or response to infectious disease or pathogens, which might be crossing, the human-animal interface. We often forget about plants. There are plant diseases which affect humans. A good example is aflatoxin in many different kinds of plants. Particularly, groundnuts, but also millets. Because of the humid environment, in many parts of our country, our crops get, especially after harvesting, during storage in not very good conditions, there is aflatoxin produced by the fungus, which infects the seeds or is parasitic on the seeds. And this results in very serious human and animal disease. In fact, you might have seen recently that there were 12 elephants who died in Madhya Pradesh in one of the sanctuaries. And the presumed cause of death was the fact that they ate a lot of millets from the fields nearby that were in, and got aflatoxin poisoning. So this is something that is a fungus getting into plants, but affecting human and animal health. And I don't think we have good data on this. What is the prevalence? What are the pockets? Where is it more common? What are the factors that actually predispose to this type of infection or infestation? So that's an example of an issue that is a huge problem for our health and nutrition security. Also could be a problem for animals, as we've recently seen, and where we could find solutions if we were to understand the problem better, both the scale and scope of the problem, but also identifying the factors and what could be done to prevent it. So there are many issues which will come to the fore when we discuss with people on the ground, whether they are veterinarians or they're agricultural extension workers or they are frontline health workers, as to what are the barriers which prevent them really from undertaking their responsibilities. Most of the frontline workers that I have met are very dedicated. They are very conscientious. They're very hardworking. If you see the kind of distances that our Ashas travel and the kind of terrain in which they work, probably most of us would give up after a few weeks or months. So I find that, that workforce is very dedicated and they take pride also in their work, and they get a lot of, they're looked up to in the community because of the work that they do and the responsibility that they have. But they are faced with a lot of practical issues, which takes them a long time to resolve because they're far away. And by the time that message travels up, from a remote hamlet, up, to the block level, to the district level, to the state level, and action is taken, it is months, if not years. And that need not be the case, because with the technology today, we should be able to reach them. They should be able to reach the policymakers or the decision makers at different levels. But of course, also then decision making also has to be decentralized. So it's not just a question of data and information that actually we collect a lot. India collects a lot of data and information. And for a long time, I felt that we haven't used all that data to its maximum potential. And I think Dr. Sindhura was also talking about many examples where data sits in silos and it's not helping overall the solving of that particular problem. So I think this is the biggest challenge before us today, before the One Health mission or program. And I think everything now is going to be One Health. I mean, and I think there is no way for us to think about SDGs or reaching any of the sustainable development goals without considering the interdependencies. And I think the more we do that, the more creative solutions we will find. We often don't think about biodiversity loss as impacting our health. But if you actually go and look at species extinction and the speed at which species are getting extinct and what impact that has on us and why did it happen? What caused it? I mean, I think vultures is a good example of how we've managed to wipe out 98% of vultures in our country. This was because of the use of a drug called diclofenac that was used in cattle. It's an anti-inflammatory analgesic drug. And when vultures fed on these carcasses, they basically developed bleeding disorder and died. And obviously the use of this drug was so widespread that 98% of vultures in India, are basically gone. I mean, it's an extremely threatened species, and vultures were part of a whole cycle in nature, So there's a big gap there. Vultures are not there to eat the carcasses. The carcasses are rotting. They're eaten by stray dogs. The rat population increases, and the disease spread also increases. So that's a big animal, the vulture, but equally, there have been many case studies from around the world where the loss of one species of insects, pollinators, for example, are also very threatened around the world. So pollinators, because of the pesticides that we use. So I think there's also a lot of potential here to do biodiversity mapping, and this is where the citizen science can really come in, where we can gather information from people who are in villages, in towns, to map their local biodiversity, keep track of trends over time, and be able to correlate that with events, maybe outbreaks in animals or in humans. Water quality is another one which obviously impacts our health very much, and which in turn is impacted by our own activities. So let us recognize that humans, the anthropogenic influence has been the driving force for both climate change and biodiversity loss, as well as the pollution that we see today, including plastic pollution. But obviously, we also have the tools and the intelligence to solve those problems, to try to mitigate and resolve some of them, and at least to throw light so that we don't repeat the same mistakes that we've made in the past. So I would love to stay engaged with this group and to know more about what comes out of this hackathon and future hackathons. And I think there's a huge scope for this kind of work. And again, I want to congratulate all the partners who have come together to launch this program. And I'm sure that students are going to be very, very excited and interested to solve these problems, upgrade their own skills, and hopefully become part of the R&D workforce of the future. Thank you very much, and all the best.
Thank you, Dr. Soumya-ji, for sharing your views about how GIS can be extended. One Health is not only about human beings, but biodiversity, plants, animals, all included. This is really very nice. And I'm sure many of us will start thinking about these aspects too, if not already thinking about it. So thank you for joining us. We will be taking the opportunity for seeking your help. And as you said, you would like to be in touch with us. We would surely be liking to be in touch with you too. Thank you.
Definitely. Yeah.
It's really-
Thank you.
Yeah, next, may I invite Dr. Ellen Govan, A, Scientist G, National Institute Epidemiology, to share his views and thoughts about GIS and how we can benefit from it. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon. Really, I am very much happy to be here as part of this program. I came to know this is the first kind of hackathon in the country. Is it not? Especially for National Medical and JS Hackathon. Is it not? In the world, even in the world. Okay. So you are many steps ahead. So that indirectly indicates no other institution or organizations are capable of doing this hackathon. That is the meaning, is it not? This is happened just because of this IITB able to bring all the collaborators together. When you are talking One Health, it is not a single man army. It should be the collaborative projects. So they have collaborated with NEB, maybe ISRA, ICMR, NIE, then what do you call then other so many other medical colleges also there. They have already identified 20 medical colleges, is it not? So that is their strength. So that's how they have started this program. GIS, it plays an important role in the medical field. For example, if the GIS combined with disease surveillance, we can have complete insight of any disease. For example, what is surveillance? It has been done for so many years. That means you will be having data for so many years, maybe this year, previous year, next year. If you put all the data into some maps, that maps can be used to see the pattern, how the disease is progressing, how the pattern is going across the district or across the state or across the country, how it is progressing. So that can be very well seen from the map. And also the trend, you can see the trend, how the trend it is, whether it is increasing or decreasing. If you select a particular districts, you can compare what about the districts last year, previous year, what about this year. If you see the map itself, you can very well, you can easily identify whether the disease is decreasing or increasing. Of course, it can be done by using the table also. In the background, table is there, data is there, but it is difficult to see or visualize the outcome in the form of table. But in the map, it can be easily, it can be shown or visualized. Then other one things, hotspot. Hotspot, unless you know the hotspot, you cannot able to act upon. Always we are having limited resources, whether in terms of money or manpower. When the source is very limited, where should we put those resources? Naturally, it should be in the optimal way. It should be spent in the optimal way. So if we know the hotspot, immediately we can target the hotspot. So by the way, you can easily bring down the diseases. The another one things, emerging pockets. By doing the surveillance, you can identify the emerging pockets. Are there suddenly any high spike is coming or any regions that can be identified so that our team can be immediately put on the field. It can prevent the disease even then before it goes to worst. The real life example is COVID. So during the COVID time, every day we used to see the newspapers, watch the TV. For what? What is the total number of cases today? What are all the regions heavily affected? Whether our region is included in the red light alert, is it not? So every day their government is they are alerting. These are the regions under red alert. These are the regions under yellow alert, like this. So what is the basics? The surveillance system during the COVID period, it run on the GIS mode. So we are knowing directly or indirectly, we have been using that GIS. Then another one important thing is modeling. In the modeling, there are two types of modeling is there. One is the predictions. Prediction means what? By based on the past year data or past year trend, you can predict what will be the trend for the next year or current year. Like this, the trend also can be predicted. Here, I want to recall one studies. I think it is most appropriate. This study, that means this modeling, it has been done by one of our sister institutions, ICMR VCRC, Vector Control Research Centers. They have developed one model for filariasis. That model, they have collected some basic and related information like the mosquito breeding, the stagnated waters, rainfall, then temperatures. They have collected all type of variables. They have developed each variable one layer. They have constructed, they have given some ranking also for each layers. Then finally, by combining all this layer, they have identified one ranking. Based on the ranking, they have identified nearly out of so many 750 plus districts, 1013 districts are prone to the filariasis. These districts are earlierly identified as non-endemic area. There is no data. Just because of no data, we cannot say there is no disease. Since there is no data, by using some other variable, they have predicted nearly 113 districts are now prone to the endemic. So this type of predictions, it is possible only by way of GIS mapping. The another one is interpolations. Technically, the interpolation is called as kriging. So kriging is nothing but, suppose India is a large country, its geographical variation is very big. Suppose we want to have some study, it is impossible to collect data across the country. Is it possible to go on each and every villages or each and every districts, collect the information? It is not at all. So what generally people are doing, they will collect some information based on some sample size, some selected places they will collect. Then they will interpolate those informations so that we can calculate the prevalence rate for those places which are not data available or not being collected. So this is called interpolations. I have been working in the HIV field for nearly 2 decades. I'm having a lot of data for all over the country. By using these interpolations, I have developed a model so that for each and every districts or each and every taluk, my model can predict the prevalence of HIV/AIDS. The prevalence is not available for each and every individual because the sentinel surveillance, it is scattered. It is not throughout the country. At some places, the prevalence, the sentinel sites are there. By using those information, I have interpolated by using this GIS. By way of this, for non-sampled area also, I have calculated the HIV prevalence, which is published in a good international papers. The next, another important thing is risk factor. By using these GIS, you can even identify the risk factors. The simple example is, I will go back the earlier days. How many of you know John Snow? In the 18th century, there was a cholera outbreak in London. The cases are increasing. Nobody knows about the clue how the cases are increasing. Many people came, many doctors came, many scientists came. but no clue at all. But the Dr. John Snow, he got a light in his mind. So what he does, he took a paper, he draw the villages along with their streets. Maybe street 1, 2, 3 like this. All the streets he has drawn in the paper. Then on the paper, he has plotted the houses where the cholera cases occurred. So the first layer is street, the second layer is the cholera cases. He made one more layer, it is called the hand pump, because in those days there is no water pipe. Just hand pump, you go and pump the water, and you have to take for drinking purpose. He plotted the hand pump. When he overlaid all the 3 layers together, then he come to some idea. While he is seeing the distributions, he has seen all the cases are clustered around the water pump. So he decided something is there with the water pump. So he removed all the water pump. From the next day onwards, the cholera cases gradually come down. After 4 or 5 days, it completely went up. So what he has done? He identified the risk factors. This is the simplest example. This can be done for any disease. For example, malaria, some association, malaria with stagnated water, dengue with the poor drainage. So many things we can do by using this GIS. I have done one exercise. In Tamil Nadu, I have plotted the HIV prevalence along the entire state. In some places, the prevalence was very high. I wanted to know why this prevalence is high in this area. So I wanted to associate the associated variables. Maybe I have overlaid the waterways, railways, national highways, state highways. So many layers I have overlaid. Then finally, I have come to a conclusions. These HIV prevalence, they are thickly populated along with the national highways. Along with the national highways, not the other one. So, if we want to really bring down the infection, where we have to concentrate? We have to concentrate on those national highways. So, we have advised the state people to target those villages around the national highways. So, like this, we can tell so many examples where GIS can play very important role in bringing down the infections. The last one is sampling. Sampling is a very classical in statistics, is it not? What are all the sampling procedures available? Maybe simple random sampling, it is the very easiest one. Cluster sampling, systematic sampling. So for all the sampling, we need the sampling frame, is it not? If you don't have any sampling frame, you cannot do the randomizations. Suppose this audience, where nearly some 30 people are there. If I want to select some 5 members, I have to have these 30 people. Among the 30 people only, I have to select 5. 5 is my sample size. The 30 is sampling. Okay. So in many cases, the sampling is not available. I have done one study where I am the PI. My objective is to identify the health impact of the people who resides around the thermal power station at Chennai. What is the study area here? There is no well-defined study area. I cannot say this is my village or this is my district. I cannot say, because here my study area is not coming under any administrative boundary. Is it not? What about my study area, whether it is 2 kilometers or 5 kilometers or 10 kilometers? It is depends upon the chimney, the height of the chimney. No, if the chimney is just half kilometer, it will go to some 5 kilometers. If chimney is still high, it will go maybe 8 kilometers, 10 kilometers. Okay. By going through the literature, I identified the dust from the chimney, it gone through around 10 kilometers radius. So now what is my study area? 10 kilometers. My sample size is, for example, 500. Is it not? Since I am not having any sampling frame, I cannot be able to select the 500. How do you select? I don't have any sampling frame. Here 30 members are there, I can select easily 5. There I don't have any base sampling frame. So alternatively, what I have thought, this 10 kilometers radius, I have divided individual grids, maybe some 30 by 30 meter grids. Why 30 by 30 meter grids? Why can't 10 by 10? Because 30 by 30 meter grids, it is reasonably enough to build a house. So I divided the entire region by 30 by 30 meter grid. It is something like if you overlay the mosquito net, how it will see. It is like this only. So within the 10 kilometers radius, for example, I have some 10 lakhs grids. Now I got the sample size, sampling frame. Is it not? I got the sampling frame. My sample size is 500. So out of this 5 lakhs, I am randomly selecting 500 grids. My people go to the grid by using the longitude, latitude. If the house is there, they will collect the information from the house. If the house is not there, I will go with the replacement. Anyhow, you will be having some replacement. No, 5 lakhs grids are there. So this is the way I have completed the study, and that study also has been published. So I can tell many things because nearly some not less than 20 papers I have published by using this GIS technique. So these are all the things we can do. A lot more things we can do by using the GIS. This is possible just because of the collaborative activities of all other people also, like DBH. These people they are part of the DBH. By collaborative activities only, this were possible. So the same way here also you made a good collaborations. Since it is a One Health, we cannot go with along a single persons. It should be a collaborative activities. Since you made it, I hope this will go very successful manner. I wish every success of this training program. Thank you very much. I am really happy to part of this. I will help, I will support in any way whenever you need. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doctor. It was really, he highlighted the power of GIS, basically, how data can help us resolve many problems. So thank you very much, Dr. Ellen Rowan. May I now request Dr. Mohan Kumar, Senior Technical Officer, South Asia Field Epidemiology and Technical Network, INC, Safety Net, to please deliver the talk.
Audible? Yeah. Thanks. So, good morning, all, and thanks for the opportunity to be here in the dais and to talk about GIS. One of my favorite. Whenever I hear the term GIS, I smile immediately as an autonomous reflex. The first map I saw was in 2009. That was shown by my teacher and guide of GIS, Dr. Ilangovan. And it was a map of Norway with some disease distribution. I forgot the actual integrity of that map. And he told, this is GIS map. I told like, wow, it's looking interesting. I saw map in 8th standard in a history where we draw blue color in the river and some brown triangle for the mountain and write something. And there my map stopped. And suddenly that one particular 1 hour talk about trying to connect the place with the associated regions, bring an information or a meaningful information was amazing. So we had a short module of GIS in our MPH in ICMR National Institute of Epidemiology, where Dr. Ilangovan sir and Dr. Vasna were leading us and discussing. And somehow it clicked me and I started loving it. Then I started searching for learning more, but in the way back in 2009-11, where even the laptops are very, very minimal in numbers, we could not find a potential trainer for GIS who can teach a medical professional. If they talk about some software, some Visual Basic, C++, open sources. I don't know those things. I know only tablets. My only mathematical skill is to count the number of tablets. I know only 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know other things about it. Then I landed up with one trainer who did an weekend classes, who was also a PhD student of GIS from Anna University. And there I inspired the GIS. Then that became a like love and profession. From that journey till now, we started teaching GIS, practicing GIS, and also trying to talk more on this GIS and health in various forums. An example is yesterday we completed a 2-day basic GIS training program at ICMR NIE, where we taught 40 young researchers. We usually conduct 2 to 3 GIS trainings every year, sir, across the country under Dr. Ilangovan, sir, through an ACO-funded project. So we have trained many people. We have 2 more trainings lined up next month. One is in Madras Medical College training targeted audience, and then second batch of our current training that is also happening in ICMR NIE. So the point which I was trying to say is there is a need for people, and there's a love for people to come and learn trainings in GIS, but the problem is there are very, very minimal base teachers. There are a lot of good GIS online sources, as I was saying. We have Coursera trainings. We have trainings from NPTEL. Come on, what these trainings are going to give you back when you finish the training and say, thank you, I got the certificate. And then the certificate leaves in the shelf, but nothing is leaving in front of you in the laptop to produce a single map. That is not the purpose of the training. As I told, we have trained 10 lakh people, and now they are the teachers. Now they are the mentors. That should be the training. That should be the training. And I really appreciate the systematology of like the 2 training programs which you run, and the way the base is being created. That is what we want, because we have a lot of people, most populous country, lot of diseases, most diseases with higher burden diseases, and we have lot of integrated One Health diseases. The currently, Sir Sindra sir should be accepting me, all the diseases, among all the infectious diseases, 85% of the diseases are of zoonotic disease origin. So that means if you have 100 diseases, 85 diseases are One Health diseases. Now it is increased even more number. And GI is not so tougher nowadays on the user case. You know, for example, like I was surprised to see Swiggy stating, okay, biryani eaters map of India. GIS, right? And now you're saying, okay, taxi is coming in 1 minute, it is 1 kilometer away. GIS. So GIS is now everywhere. People are automatically collecting information and feeding into some database. It is for us to use it. And I believe, and I also foresee, the forums like this and the learners of our training programs will definitely use those data and add more value to better understanding of the current disease profile, and do a better data triangulation and have a better healthy India here. Jai Hind, and thank you everybody.
Thank you, Dr. Mohan Kumar. Yes, sir. The training should lead to something fruitful, and visible outcomes should be seen. We do agree, and that's why we developed the education pyramids of excellence. So moving on to the next speaker, invited speaker, we have Dr. Shankar Reddy Dulala from Public Health Specialist, World Health Organization. Welcome, sir.
Respected dignitaries on the dais and of the dais, thank you so much for giving this opportunity, for being a part of this hackathon launch at IIT Mumbai. So it's a dream come true for me also. Like whenever I feel that I'm getting integrated or collaborating with other departments, especially engineering department. So my first collaboration with the engineering stream was during the COVID time when I was working at the state level, working with our special CS for health. So like every day I used to hear different modeling. So my CS was asking, what is this modeling and all. So then I need to collaborate with my friends who are with IIT Chennai and a few friends from Indore. So then we also started giving, because that's the only way of helping the department, because it was a new disease. We don't know what will be the projected population. So we wanted some time so that we can establish our systems and what kind of interventions need to be planned. So this has helped me a lot. And in that process, even I started a bit, I enrolled myself in NIT Warangal for artificial intelligence. I was saying, okay, let me also chip in, but it's too complicated for a medical field subject to learn all those coding and all. Then I thought, okay, let me continue this collaboration. So for almost 2.5 years, I was collaborating with all the people. But I started my public health journey 20 years back in an agency area, Bhadrachalam, where like I had a very good opportunity to work with Dr. Buddha Prakash M. Jyoti. So he's a MBBS doctor. So he was very much interested to work for the tribal group. So he called me and he was telling, see, there are more number of home deliveries. How can we increase the institution delivery? So he asked me, okay, you give me the list of all the ANCs. We'll see how we can map them. So as I had a system at the PHC, so I enlisted all the cases with plus or minus 7 days. Then only thing is that since I was not aware of all those maps, I was just putting like, okay, it's 7 kilometers nearest hospital that belongs to this PHC, this PHC. So now I'm thinking that, okay, if I would have known this JS software priorly, so it would have been given a better outcome. So even that we had a very big flood in 2007. So we handled 200 doctors from other districts for almost 1 month. So every day my work was to take the data of all the 200 doctors, what they have done today, where there are cases. So it was a laborious task. So we need to use the digital platform. We need to take the help of and the other line departments of engineering departments, so that our work will become easy and the output will become, it will be more appropriate, excellent, and the interventions can be done aptly. But thanks for the entire team for taking this forward, and the present generation will be definitely getting benefited because of this hackathon. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you, Dr. Shankar Dulalaji. It was definitely, I mean, when you talk about the different GIS roles that happen and the activities that are possible, definitely it will be, helpful for us to move ahead. And your best wishes, I'm sure, are with us. So we'll move ahead to the next one. And we have the process flow and timeline of National Medical GIS Hackathon 2025. Overview of that by Dr. Virumbi from HPHF and Mr. Mohammad Qasim Khan, National Coordinator for CGIS, IIT Bombay. May I request both of you to please share the information about the hackathon activities.
Thank you, madam. So we'll not take much time. So thanks to Dr. Virdalai for supporting us with all the inputs required. We'll just take you to the National Medical GIS Hackathon's website. We will project the important dates. As today is the launch day of this hackathon. Registration will start after 2 o'clock today. So the link will be active. And other activities like thematic workshops, awareness sessions, collection of problem statements, because as far as the interaction that we had with the Honeybee Population Healthcare Foundation team, it is understood that some of the district collectors also have some problem statements which require to be solved on an immediate basis. So you can also write to us, government agencies, district collectors, policymakers, or even medical colleges who have data centers, particularly a very strong community medicine department. Feel free to contact us. It can also be a district-based, taluka-based, village-level activity as well. So this is all I have. I pass on the mic to Dr. Virdalai. Meanwhile, I'll just project the website.
As part of this National Medical GIS Hackathon, we are planning three type of activities. The first one is forming the National Advisory. The National Advisory will be guiding us on the identifying problem statements, priority areas, how to take this GIS Hackathon through the internship, fellowship, and academia industry connect. That is the first activity we are planning. And second activity is we have identified the regions in the India. We are planning to conduct 6 workshops in the upcoming 3 months. 3 to 6 months, we will able to have a clear understanding of we are trying to bring the new aspiring people who want to learn GIS through these workshops. This is second activity. The place, the venue, the registrations will be available in the same website. And the third activity is the awareness session. So the awareness session is we are trying to have a short quiz. We are trying to have a short communications for all the students, the universities, regarding this medical GIS hackathon and the thematic areas. These are the three activities we planned as part of the National Medical GIS hackathon. And specifically, we place one request. There are two group of people we learned. One, who are having the problem statements, and second, who are willing to work on the problem statements. The first group, we learned that there are district collectors in every district. They are having all the problem statements with shortage of hands to work on the GIS maps. So first, the students, the colleges can approach the district collector to get the problem statements on the priority areas of One Health. You may able to recall the guest speakers, the invited speaker, the notes, the area of work, and the experiences shared here. And this problem exists everywhere. So if you have a problem in your mind, you can discuss with the district administration and refine the problem statement. That will help you in get the ground-driven data sets. The second area we want to have is the district health officials, human health, veterinary health, and agriculture. So you can approach and get the problem statements from this domain of people. And third is the medical colleges are having a division community medicine, the preventive and social medicine, and the departments. They can able to help with the current priorities of your locality. So these are the people you can able to discuss to refine your problem statements. One. Second, as a participants, you can participate as an individual, as a team, as a collaboration between a single university or a college or a combination of medical plus technology. It is your wish. An individual can also participate, a team can also participate. We wish to have a clarity on one simple thing. When you are arriving an objective, that is a problem statement, we are here to help you to refine it to bring the meaningful output from that exercise. This, again, it is a guidance. It is not a mandated guideline for participating in the National Medical GIS Hackathon, because the problem statements require a translation from the end who is having the problem to the user, that is a participant, that participant to understand exactly what is the problem statement. If you have your own problem statement, we will able to link you to the mentor to get more clarification on the objectives or the problem statements you are having in your thought. So till this point, I have briefed you on the process of National Medical GIS Hackathons, first part of it. Coming to the second part of it is the internship, where the successful participants who are awarded the certificates are eligible to participate in the internship. We wish to document the process of how they have able to solve the problem statement into a case study. So these case studies will become the reference for the upcoming students or upcoming professionals to use the solution for their day-to-day activities. So this is our second step we planned, that is internships. What we expect from the participants are, you please have your step-by-step activities documented to solve the problem, so that the FOSSI team will guide you through this internship to convert into a case study which will become the reference material. This is the second stage of it. The third stage is the fellowship, where if the problem is solving the actual field issues, then that can be published into the peer-reviewed journals. So the first step is identifying talents. The second step is documenting the case studies for a reference. The third step is the fellowship, where the scientific publications are going to be disseminated from this National Medical GIS Hackathon. The fourth step is, yes, it is published. Now, what is the impact it can get into the community? We want the professionals, we want the academicians, we want the researchers to sit together and take it to the field for a day-to-day use is what the fourth step. We will guide to connect and build this network across the India. That is why we want to create the awareness during this hackathon. Thank you.
Yeah, so I'll hand on the mic to Dr. Sindhura Ganapathy, sir.
Dr. Sindhura Ganapathy has kindly agreed to bring this to the attention of a lot of people. So I want to know what his thought process is.
There are efforts ongoing as part of National One Health Mission, and there are different sectors involved, whether it is human health side or the animal husbandry side, wildlife, Ministry of Environment, Forest. So all of these could be sensitized as a result of this. So if you could share these links, we will try to put it out as broadly as possible. And depending on the problem solved, there could be potential areas where this could turn it into a project, depending on what problem it is solving at the intersection of either of these sectors.
Thank you. We can also write to every district collector saying that, why don't you bring this to the attention of students in your area? More the merrier. Let every student participate. Let every school participate. There were cases where school students participated. Of course, along with them, their parents also participated. Whole family participated. It's a fantastic thing. And we have more people, more hands, address many more case studies.
And as part of this National One Health Mission effort, we asked many of the states to nominate their each of the chief secretaries. We sent a letter to nominate a representative, because it's very hard to. It's a diffuse area, right? So many of the states have these nominations, nominees. So for those of the states where we already have these nominees, they could be kept in loop, so that you can link it to the existing efforts, and it may help strengthen it further to take it forward if it is already falling in the purview of the state government. So depending on where you are getting traction, and share their contacts so that they are part of this.
Thank you so much, sir. If it is possible, if One Health Mission could also be joining us as a knowledge partner, so that would add more value to the hackathon, probably in the national level advisory that we are in the process of finalizing. So your inputs would be much crucial and important to us, so that other state departments could also be added. Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. So I now would like to welcome. There is a slight change in schedule because of as a matter of time we have to rush for lunch. The detailed presentation of IIT Bombay FOSSI GIS activities, which I have to present, I'll be doing it in the afternoon, 2:30. And now I request a senior manager, Rajesh Kushalkar, to highlight the IoT related geospatial activities that we are planning for this year. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'll be a bit quick. I'll not wait because my major of the things have been already told by the speakers out here. So generally, what do you think? So, sorry. Yes, sir. I'm just sharing. It's not shared. This screen is not shared. बार-बार चला जाता है क्या? Slide. Okay. So many of the things have been already told. So IoT in the healthcare or IoT related activities is not a very new thing. So it has been already used by the healthcare department in many ways, but it has been come up very widely and all this thing after COVID only. So the latest things what we can see in healthcare today are the diabetes means glucometer patch, what is there. Then we have a BP monitor, which has been monitored, continuous monitoring systems and all these things, whatever are there. So these are all IoT enabled devices. And it gives continuous information to the doctor also. So real-time patient monitorings and all these things, everything has been talked during the talk only. So how fast the medical facilities is available for the people, ambulance and all these things are also, it is tracked. This is all the tracking device where the IoT is coming in the picture. And the telemedicine is one of the things which was widely used during the COVID time. So what kind of health, what kind of temperatures, sharing the documents and all these things were given. Even the medicine facilities, whether the particular drugs are available at this particular places or not, everything is there available. Now, tracking the things is one of the best part. I'll give you the example for this thing. It's the green corridor, which has been enabled people to transform the organs from one place to other. So in India, they have really done a very good fashion. The green corridors, which was available. So it was again with the help of these devices only. And again, how the AI can be used to analyze the pandemic controls and all these things. So everything, I feel the GIS is one of the best thing which can be mapped out here. Again, the data privacy, it's problems with the things, a lot of data has been collected. Now, how this data can be prevented and how it can be put it in a very secure manner. So whether whom the data has been shared, where it has been shared, it's a personal data at the end, but how it is shared, everything is the most challenging thing which comes in the part. So generally, many things, the technology which enables is a blockchain for sharing the data and all this thing can be used for this part. So I'll just conclude it with things. IoT will definitely is going to play a very key role in healthcare and GIS and for monitoring purpose, and of course for a lot of research and innovation part. So I'll just end up with let's innovate, integrate, and improve the healthcare together. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Rajesh. Yes, IoT can be also used along with the GIS to expand its scope and reachability. So thank you for sharing your insights, Rajesh. May I request Usha Vishwanathan to give a formal vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, all. It is with great pleasure I stand before you to express our sincere vote of thanks for being here with us today to launch the National Medical GIS Hackathon and our activity calendar for the year 2025. So I will like to thank all the guests who are present with us today. Our chief guests rather, Dr. Sindhura Ganapati, PSA Fellow, Government of India, and Dr. Soumya Swaminathan, Chairperson, MS Swaminathan Research Foundation and Principal Advisor, National Tuberculosis Elimination Program, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India. Then other guests of honors, Dr. Ilangovan, Scientist G, ICMR NIE, and other invited speakers, Dr. Mohan Kumar, Senior Technical Officer, South Asia Field Epidemiology and Technology Network, Inc., Dr. Shankar Reddy Dudala, Public Health Specialist, World Health Organization, and of course, our co-organizer, Dr. Vidudalai Virumbi, founder, Honeybee Population Health Foundation, and our sponsors, the HPHF, then ISRO, ICFOS, and our technical partner, the Rudra Lab of IIT Bombay, and the funding agency of the FOSSI project, Ministry of Education. And finally, I would like to thank the team members of our the various groups who have worked behind this program to make this a great success. And I will also like to thank our PI, Professor Kannan Moudgalya, and co-PI, Professor Pennan Chinnaswamy, for being the guiding light for all the activities which we are doing under the GIS vertical. And I will also like to thank IIT Bombay for hosting this project and trying to reach out to as many people as or the students as possible and get benefits of our various activities. Thank you all.
I would like to request Professor Kannan, our PI, to hand over mementos to our guests. Mohan sir, and so please come. So thank you, everyone. So we conclude the session for now. Now we'll break for lunch, and the next session is at 2:30. Those who are free, if you would like to join, please do. Thank you.